I really love the idea of showing a woman who liked her life, had a great relationship with her daughter. It kind of all gets shaken up, and she wasn't unhappy in her life, but now realizes she can, and it's okay to want something else and want a little more.
A mom goes back to school and becomes the life of the party. A movie writer, Mike Scott with NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, is here with more on that and what's maybe worth seeing this weekend.
Speaking of the life of the party,
Beginning
right?
with the life of the party. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Yeah, this will be another Avengers weekend. Remember earlier this year we had Black Panther won the box office for like 4 weeks in a row. Avengers is trying to get its own streak going, and it's going to do it. It's going to finish in first place for its third consecutive week. But its biggest competition probably comes from Life of the Party, this Melissa McCarthy comedy.
This may be the first competition it's had,
really, yeah, to speak of. And the reason why this is such good scheduling is because it's Mother's Day weekend. And I have a feeling there are a lot of mothers out there who really aren't interested in going seeing Avengers on their weekend. But they might want to go see Melissa McCarthy at her comedic best. Unfortunately, this isn't her at her comedic best, but she is the best thing about Life of the Party, which is directed by her real-life husband, Ben Falcone. She stars, as we heard in the top, as a woman who, after the dissolution of her marriage, goes back to college. There's a lack of originality there. Remember, Rodney Dangerfield did this in 1986's Back to School. And in addition to that, the script is just sort of uneven and unimaginative. But I think people who are big fans of Melissa McCarthy, there's going to be enough there for them to latch onto. She's that good of a comic where she can elevate the material. It's not going to be a movie that's going to be remembered as a cinema classic, but it'll give them some laughs while they're there.
Interesting. You are all over the map on that one. I thought you'd like it, and then you didn't like it, and then you said it's
keeping you on your toes, John.
All right, RBG. Is that just for political and legal junkies?
Well, probably. This is a documentary about Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's a fairly straightforward documentary from a form standpoint. This doesn't rewrite the book on how documentaries are made, but what they have is a fascinating personality in Ruth Bader Ginsburg, this unlikely Supreme Court force of nature who, she's very divisive. You love her, you hate her. She's revered on the left, reviled on the right, but you have to admit she's a fascinating personality, and this kind of lays out her whole life story. So I do think to answer your question, yeah, I think political and news junkies will appreciate it particularly, but anybody who goes and sees this will be impressed by Ginsburg.
All right, and then finally, the so-so thriller.
Yeah, it's a horror movie, technically, a British horror movie called Ghost Stories, and it's sort of an old school creep show. It's three stories rolled up in one. It's centered around a skeptic and debunker.
It's a little like watching the Fox 8 Morning Show.
Sorry, all over the place. So it's about a professional skeptic, or a skeptic and professional debunker who's given 3 unexplainable supernatural courses to explain, and of course he learns all sorts of things along the way. This is sort of horror-like. It looks good. It's got it's nicely shot. It's got a great cast, but the scares are kind of mild. I think this is a horror movie for people who don't really love horror movies, but maybe like a little bit of a jolt. It's not a jalapeno pepper, I say in my review. It's more of a banana pepper. Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, that's a good way to describe it. Mike Scott, appreciate that.
Thank
Mike
you.
from NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune.